Hey, everybody, Patriot Podcast. It's the Patriot Sons Podcast. What episode are we on? Oh, 114 episodes of these things. We already talked about in the green room how many snowflakes you need to buy 5 loaves of bread. And that's not what we're really here for. What I really want to get you guys on, since we didn't talk about any of this in the green room, is I've got a I've got an answer for this, but I want to know from both of you, Senator Mark Kelly, who keeps doubling and tripling and quadrupling down on the I went on missions, I sunk boats, I turned people into red mist. I know what's a lawful order by a POTUS. The POTUS and Pete Hegseth are giving unlawful orders. I'm just gonna drop it there. You two discuss, and then I've got an answer for you guys. You may not like it, but let me hear from you guys. Whoever wants to go first.
I think Kelly is a pussy. I mean, honestly, I am stunned at the way this man will humiliate himself in service to the powers that be. You read the room, dude. Enough's enough. I just see the guy's face now, and I just want to throw up in my mouth. I mean, I,
He doesn't understand
I
the Constitution. He doesn't understand how amendments work. He doesn't understand how execution is done. He and he was an astronaut, and I'm embarrassed, but he was the astronaut that did not go in space. His brother did.
That's true.
okay.
No, that's true. But you got to go farther with where he's going with. It's seditious behavior, is what he's asking the military to do. Farther.
Others to do right. Not him, but others.
Others. Right. He's asking literally for a military coup. And if you guys want to comment real quick, I'm going to explain what I think is happening, but I'll leave more room for either of you to jump in on Mark Kelly, the spacetronaut.
I wasn't very eloquent the first time. Obviously, I have a great deal of disdain for this person, but it exhausts me how it's just one psyop after another, one psyop after another, and now the minute we get done with whatever it was we just got done with, we there was something that they were beating Epstein. They were beating their gums about Epstein forever,
Yep.
and they wouldn't let it go. They wouldn't let it go until they had the disclosure, and then they realized that Democrats are going to get embarrassed. So
Yep.
the next thing we're going to do is this. We're going to start talking about unlawful orders. And it's very clear that there is no appetite in the United States for due process for drug boat captains. There just isn't. That would be what the next thing they would do would be go to due process for illegal aliens. Now let's go to due process for drug boats. They know that's not going to fly. So now it's illegal order. Illegal, right? You can't order an attack on a boat. Really? I mean, we've only done that since we had a navy, for
Yeah,
Christ's
that's
sake.
right.
Yeah, and so that's that's pretty much all I've got to say. It's taking advantage of the ignorance of a good portion of the population who have no idea how our coastlines are defended.
Paul, I know I'm just right off the bat hitting you guys with, but do you have any more thoughts on Senator Spacetronaut Kelly, Senator Mark Kelly? Because I have a theory that I think explains it all, but I'd really like to not inject my thoughts into this open debate yet, Paul.
So I have to say, in my company, we're right in the middle of doing the work that Mark Kelly's talking about. And to me, it's really disingenuous what he's saying, because under the covers or behind the scenes or whatever you want to call it, he knows what has to be done. He was raised and trained. He knows what has to be done. And what he's doing is playing politics. Even though he knows our position is correct, he's going to go against it just because of semantics.
The resistance.
All right, now you guys are starting to catch on. So this is the resistance trademark. And this is like nobody's talking about this yet. What's funny, JC, we'll see it 2 or 3 weeks from now all over the internet because we're going to break it here. What this is setting himself up to run
Right.
for president, and he's going to use it in the guise of Donald Trump had bone spurs, Pete Hegseth with a weekend warrior. They do not know what a lawful order is. I, who have vaporized people, know what a lawful order is, and therefore I will be the proper CIC commander in chief that Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth can never be. And this is what he's setting up. And he's beta testing it. And he's beta testing it like Trump beta tests things. Don't deny that he's not trying to figure this out. I'm just gonna start saying stuff, and then whatever gets picked up by the mass media, and especially social media, those are the things I'm gonna run with. But I got to throw a bunch of crap out there and see where all of my base voters think I should go. He's beta testing his run for presidency. He thinks he can take out Gavin. He thinks he can take out AOC. And everybody at this point, because we haven't gotten to the midterms yet, even on the Republican side, is running for president right now. Everybody. They'll thin themselves out on purpose once their committees decide that it's
Right.
not viable. This dude, I'm telling you, this guy is making a real strong play to the blue haired Democrat CNN and M Snow or MS Now watchers. I could be your commander in chief. I would never let this happen. That's what's going on with Mark Kelly. Prove me wrong.
So the other thing that's going on is the silence of his twin brother, who is a conservative, but
No. He's come out in support of his brother,
well,
the twin brother
I
dude.
was going to say I think,
The guy that's 1 inch taller because he didn't spend 372 days in space.
yeah, I think he is more conservative than his brother, but blood is thicker than water, and he's going to support his brother.
Your brother wouldn't have supported you if you ran for city county council. He would have said you're a dumbass. I get what you're saying, but you could say his brother's
Sean, I'm gonna have
know.
to take up for Paul here. When it comes to Democrats, they never break ranks. Sorry, they just don't. In fact, when you see a Democrat break ranks like a Zell Miller or like whoever, if they
Tulsi
don't,
Gabbard, Elon Musk.
right, but it's the end of their career as Democrats every
Yeah.
single time. whether they like Zell Miller just fade from view, or whether it's like the other ones, they come and be a star. It's an either or proposition. They're done as Democrats as soon as they break ranks. You can't think independently there.
No, that's absolutely true. Which it's sad. It's sad to see. But it's absolutely true, and that's just how the machine operates. I'm also you gotta look at the way like the rest of the people that were all in that first video calling for seditious behavior. They're all just rounding up and backing
Yeah.
Senator Mark Kelly.
Of course.
They're not themselves continuing to double down. They're just like what he said. They're putting it all on him, and that's what like you're hearing it here first. Come back to me in 6 months and tell me I'm wrong. This guy is literally setting up a presidential campaign, and it's a rage against Trump campaign, and I will be the lawful commander in chief. We have to remove the unlawful commander in chief. Am I wrong?
I don't know if you're wrong. I just don't think it'll work. I mean, I'm
Oh,
obviously not the audience for it. You know, anybody who thinks like me would never vote for that dickhead. Sorry, censors, but I mean, the guy is just devoid of morals.
all right. So let's get into the details of what this whole. Well, they started it. Slotkin started it 2.5 weeks
Yeah,
ago, or 3 weeks ago, and she
or
said, "I see."
Cheryl, or Slotkin, or Cheryl, or Spanberger, or any number of them that they pull off the printing press, or they're all exactly the same. Goodlander, all of them.
Yeah, Highlander, or whatever.
Yeah, whatever she is. My big fat deep state wedding with Jake Sullivan. Yeah.
Well, they were claiming that there was going to be an attack
Yes.
of some sort in 2 weeks. The attack happened, and then all of a sudden, people that you just this is normal. No, people that just live their lives. They go to work, they go to jobs, they take their kids to soccer, whatever. They're struggling to pay their electric bill because electric prices are retardedly high. Have
And
been for
surging.
15 years, right?
And
They don't pay
surging.
much attention to this, but now all of a sudden they're hearing that 5 of the 6 of these people are former CIA members, and that
Yeah.
one of them is a one of them was an astronaut. Oh, and a former Navy captain. And they're going, wait, what? Wait, oh, th- man. Well, if you guys were CIA, then you possibly know that Trump is giving unlawful orders. See where see where this is all going with
Sure.
see how it is super easy. You push the motive. TikTok takes it. Blue Sky takes it. Facebook takes it. Instagram takes it. Even Twitter takes it up. And you
Maybe.
got this guy. You got this guy. Like you got this guy. He's doing illegal strikes. I'm gonna stop right there real quickly. Ask Paul. I don't know that you know anything, and that's not what I'm trying to get at. But what I'm going to ask you, when you were in the military, if your captain or maybe your LT authorized you to strike something, did you even think to question the strike? Because that's what Mark Kelly.
Absolutely not. You'd be
That's what Mark
court-martialed
Kelly is
if you
asking people to
questioned.
do.
Of course
Yeah,
not.
you'd be court-martialed if you even said, "Wait, what are you saying? What do you want me to do?" You'd be court-martialed. You'd be taken out of the line of fire, and you would be court-martialed, and you would be replaced with person B, who would say, "Yes, sir, no problem. We got it. We're doing it."
So the story, real quickly, just for everybody listening and for the internet censors that are going to try to censor this conversation, the story is that Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of War, asked for a double tap. Hold on, hear me out. That has never been confirmed. It's been denied by Pete Hegseth, and it's been denied by the President of the United States. That being said, let me ask you this. If there was an attack on a drug trafficking boat, and they did the attack, would they just be on the phone with Pete Hegseth
No,
and get an answer like, "Hey, do we do it again?" Because it didn't
No,
work. The first one didn't
no.
sink it.
Whatever the regional commander is for that area, the southeast Florida or the southeast district or whatever, it lies with him. He doesn't have to go to Pete Hegseth. So here's the thing that the unwashed don't understand, right? I've got friends that go, "Oh my God, how can you support them just blowing ships out of the water?" Well, guess what, dude? We've been doing surveillance for 5 months. We know the boat. We know the
yeah,
boat number. We know the people. We know where they're loading it. And when they hit the water, that's when we hit them. You dumb son of a bitch. That's how it goes.
we know where they're taking it, and we know what's going to happen to the kids who are going to die as a result of it being delivered. That's exactly right.
Well, Mark Kelly is telling us we don't know anything, and then you got Rand Paul out there saying these people deserve some sort of,
Through process.
They
and
don't.
and I
They
it, this is
That's the
this
big
is where,
fallacy,
could you
though.
please use your expertise to explain, because you were in the war on drugs in the Miami days of the 1980s. Explain how our intelligence agencies are in Bogota. They are in Tijuana. They are everywhere. And
They're
they know these
everywhere,
people's home
dude.
addresses. They know these people's children. They actually went to these children's birthday parties. They know
And
these
they've
people.
actually, listen, they've actually gone before federal judges and have been affiants on search warrants and search research that they could do what they're doing now. It's all above board, but the media doesn't tell you that.
No,
They
that's
don't
my
want to tell
point.
you that.
But that's where I need you to be a little more detailed and explain. You could say, how does this, we say, well, the CIA, well, the State Department know all of these people by name, and they know their families, and they've probably
So,
been to some of their kids' birthday
okay,
parties. Can you
I
please,
understand what
like,
you're
for the
asking.
listeners, this is super
Yeah.
important for
So,
everyone to understand how U.S.
yeah.
intelligence operations happens.
So, having been the affiant on over 300 search warrants, I can tell you how it happens, right? So, it's either the State Department or the DEA or ATF, any number of local agencies. They all have people in the field, right? They got people in Central America, South America, they got people in Mexico, and their uh, work is to bring um, defined responses to what these guys are doing. So you you got a guy, that's on our, and we had a guy, we called him Termite because this guy could find dope, in a cotton stack. He was just one of those guys. So and he was fearless. So he would go to Columbia, work with the local drug dealers stuff, and send back a sit rep and go, hey, these guys are fixing to put 1,500 pounds on a go fast boat, and they're headed to Andros Island in the Bahamas. They're going to refuel there, and then they're headed to Key Biscayne,
Right.
because Key Biscayne is notorious for their low security, right? And then before this current administration, in my day, we would have a whole bunch of, jacked up guys like me with weapons that would meet them at Key Biscayne and jump on the boat and beat them up and shoot them and whatever it took, and
Sure.
confiscate the drugs.
Narcotics. Yeah, you took
A-
the narcotics.
So the only
After
difference
you
now
read
is
them after you read them their Miranda rights, though, right, Paul?
absolutely all the time.
That's my point, though, because JC, you nailed it. Rand Paul and his father, even Ron Paul, want them to have their Miranda rights read, and this is not constitutional American
You
law.
don't need
It's not.
Miranda rights if I'm not asking you any questions.
You
You
don't need
don't need
Miranda rights if
Miranda
you're not
if
a
I'm not asking you any
constitutional
questions.
United
I'm
States
going to beat you up and
citizen.
take you to jail. I don't need to ask you questions. Therefore, under the Constitution, I do not have to read you Miranda rights. Period. Flat.
No, absolutely true, but it gets even worse. If you're not a United States citizen, you don't follow under the Constitution, and
That's
I really
correct.
don't give a crap what the French think about what we're doing in international waters and under international law.
Yeah.
I
No.
really don't give a crap
Right.
that they gave us a statue. It's a great statue. I love the Statue of Liberty. I really don't give a crap what they think about us. I mean, Giorgia
Well,
Melani's all on board. Victor Orban's all on board. All of our friends are on board, but France and England and Canada, they're like, they can go screw themselves. I really don't give a shit.
let me tell you something, Sean. So I'm talking from personal experience being on the DEA task force.
Yes.
We would board a, 46-foot Donzi laden thick with cocaine, right? And the little
Well,
skinnies.
and for the listeners, so you're talking about what would be called. So they have a cigarette boat with 5 450 horsepower engines on the back of it.
Yeah,
Right.
so a cigarette, another brand. Cigarette is one brand, Donzi is another brand. The Colombians preferred the Donzis over the cigarettes because the cigarettes had a higher profile
Mhm.
and they were known as drug boats. So the Colombians went to the Donzis that were known as ocean racers, and they even, as an aside, they even fielded ocean racers with their drug money that were fully enclosed and all that kind of stuff. So on our DEA task force, we'd pull up and challenge one of the boats. And they would stop in the water and we would board. And it was high drama. I mean, it
I'll
was
bet.
tense. We didn't know if we were getting a shootout or not. And you had a 50-50 chance. that you were going to shoot your way out of that boat or not. And it sucked, dude. I can tell you personally, it sucked. And then we would take control of the boat and 10, 15 or arrest all of the crew on the boat, put them back on our boat, and then tow, or in my case, I knew how to run a Donzi pretty well. I would, follow the arrest boat back to Key Biscayne or whatever. And then later on, they started planting explosives on their boat. So we pull them over, board the ship, arrest them, put them back on our boat, and somebody, it wasn't me, but somebody like me would turn that donkey and follow the arrest boat. And then about 300 meters later, that boat would blow up.
Wow.
Boom.
And I
Well, and the point you make,
some mates, dude. I lost some mates during that,
to be clear, that's what we're dealing with narco terrorists.
They didn't read your buddies his rights, did they?
No, of course not. And that's what all the people that are of all people, I get he's a libertarian, so I'm not a fan, but Rand Paul is asking to have Miranda rights read to narco terrorists. And I say to Rand Paul, dude, go do what Paul has done.
Yeah.
You will take a totally different look at life.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're retarded. And that brings me to the next thing, retarded. So President Trump called Tim Walz retarded in a Truth Social post. And I thought it was funny. You can get mad at me. I really don't care, everybody listening. But so the use of the word retarded, because gay and retarded, GHEY, and retarded, RETARD, is totally acceptable again, because you know what? We're done being pussies to everything. And we're just done. We're done. So, what's funny to me is that Tim Walz is coming out and trying to prove he's not retarded.
Oh, with the Somali bullshit?
By saying, no, I had nothing to do with the Somali. Now, I'm going to go a little bit farther with the Somali fraud. And I'm going to tell you, the listeners, that Tim Walz is a socialist. You can accept that or deny it. I really don't care. But this is a fraud, is a feature of socialism, not a bug. That's why. Yep, you go ahead and jump in here. That's why it happened. It's a feature.
No, but Sean, it has to be. See, the point is that socialism gets its adherents by promising to distribute the wealth of the productive to the non-productive. That's how it becomes attractive and gains a majority. There's not enough to slake the appetite of the masses unless you run fraud. It's a flawed system, because even the most productive don't produce enough to make the leeches comfortable, and nobody wants to get by on what, if we go to the digital currency, what the government's going to make everybody try to get by on. Okay, nobody wants to try to get by on that. You're not going to get votes that way. You've got to give them a better lifestyle. Yeah. And that's what Walz has been doing up in Minnesota, is trying to make sure that the Somalis live high. So they continue to support him. And it worked until today when 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 it finally caved in. And I've never seen anybody dragged on social media like Walls was today. And they're all saying, I just can't believe this. I'm like, I can totally believe it. The minute I saw that guy jumping around on stage, he's the biggest fraud I've ever seen in my life.
Time
Anyway,
out. All politics is local. We need to be very clear about all politics is local. Just when a lot of people are bashing Indianans, hello,
yeah.
TPUSA, I'm calling
They're
you
still
out.
they're still going, I know.
I'll get into that later if I get into it at all on this podcast. Going to Minnesota, the point is the voters that they imported are going to vote for more free
Yes.
shit. So they don't really care. So when you say, "Well, we'll just vote them out," this gets me to my point of like, if you're an influencer on the internet and you have no idea what the F happens in a state, because states are
Right.
local. It's
Right.
local, and states have heritages just like the United States has a heritage from things, but the states are even more important to people. Like the TPUSA thing where they called and had to delete their post. They're like, "Hey, Indianans, hey, do you remember that movie with Gene Hackman? What are the
Hoosiers.
Indianans?
Hoosiers.
Indianans,
Yeah.
Indianans. They want to." Right, like, you can't even take 5 seconds to Google Indiana. That's the first thing that's gonna show up is Hoosier,
That would have never happened with Kirk around.
and
That
the
would have
second
never
would have
happened.
been Rudy,
Ever.
right,
Yeah.
out of Notre Dame. Yeah,
Yeah.
that like, it just you're totally right, but see, here's what I'm going is that these influencers have no power other than this. Hold on. If there's a message that really needs to be spread, they can absolutely do that. They have no power. They have no power in Indiana. They don't even know what Indiana is. If you showed them a picture of Indiana and showed them a picture of Iowa, they would look the same to them
Right.
because there's corn. I, you got like I'm not trying to call
No,
specific
I get that.
out,
Yeah. Yeah.
but there's accounts that just are attacking like I'm going to come to Indiana and I'm going to primary. One of them is a really good account I like that registers Republican voters. I'll just leave it at that. And I like that he registers voters wherever he goes, especially as Republicans. But he's like, I'm going to come primary, and I responded to one of his posts. Obviously, it got ignored. That's the way the internet works. But it's like,
Imagine
do
that. Yeah.
do you realize this guy has 3 more years in his term? Are you really going to be paying attention to this guy in 3 years because you didn't get your way in a national event? You have no idea what happened. You don't know anything about Indiana. You don't even know they're Hoosiers.
No.
You think they're
You didn't
Indianans.
you didn't get your way in a one-off redistricting fight that had never been done, was kind of unique and novel,
Yeah.
and lots of deals had been cut on the current structure of those
Yep.
districts that they don't want to let go of.
Yep. 100%, bro.
And we can curse the rhinos for all their dirty dealings with the Democrats in states, but that's just human nature. People cut
Why
deals.
why reward rhinos who did not eliminate property taxes, which was what everybody in Indiana asked for from Governor
Right.
Braun? Why reward them with 2 more seats? It's a question.
Well, For
I
that
think if
matter,
you're a veteran, you should not pay property tax.
Oh, no, we're totally gonna get into that too, but income tax, we'll get into that, but property tax just in general, that is the biggest issue I think
Yeah.
the
well, what
Republican
and the
Party is
problem,
dealing with.
but no, the reason why it's suddenly a huge issue is because of the great inflation. I mean, everybody likes the fact that their house is worth $800,000 now, but they don't like the property tax bill that comes with that.
You guys do. The people that are 20 hate you. They hate all of you. They're like, "There's no way I can't possibly ever get in to the
Yeah.
housing market. There's no possible
Yeah.
job I can get, to get into the I can't buy a house. I'm never gonna be able to buy a house. I can't." Like, I remember when my first house I bought, 102 grand.
Yeah.
And, 15 years later, $280,000.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
retarded. That's retarded an amount of inflation. It really is.
So
And so
I have to say though, Sean, my youngest son and his wife getting out of the military, uh, just bought a house in Saginaw, Texas, and it's dude, it's awesome. Just a great house, and in my view, a great price. And totally with they're dinks, they're double income, no kids, but it was seriously well within their uh
so you're
How
probably
old are
still
they, Paul? How old are they, Paul?
hold on. I'm gonna actually go after this.
All
So,
right.
I'm guessing this is probably the house cost, a monthly payment after taxes, utilities, everything, about 70% of their income?
um
Because that's not okay. That's
no,
not
I don't
where
think
we used
so.
to be.
So she makes over 100, he makes about 90, and the house they bought was 370 something.
Yeah,
They
30
qualified
years.
for 780,000, you know what I mean? You
Well,
know how they
everyone
take you and
qualifies
stuff.
for a ridiculous amount of a mortgage. My
Yeah,
point is going to be that Americans are house poor, and like I'm happy that your son and his wife were able to do this, but like people can't even do this anymore. Is that the America is not house poor?
but do
They
you think
are
it
absolutely because if you go back to the 1920s and then 30s and 40s, and you go, oh, what? Well, houses were only 50 grand. And everyone's like, well, inflation. Well, hold on. Their house payment was 20% of their income, like the house bills.
sure.
Now it's 75% of household income with
Oh, I got
two
you.
working people.
Yeah,
In 1920 and 1930, it was one working person, still only 20% of their household income. Do you see where the massive inflation gap in housing is just gonna burst?
Well, the thing that's going on right now in the market, I was listening to it today, is when prices look like they're gonna tip a little bit, people are just delisting their house. They're not hanging in there and cutting the price. They're just waiting. And then all you have to do is get a quarter point drop on interest rates, and we're back off to the races again. The inflationary pressure on housing prices is not subsiding.
It's not, but, there's a cap. I don't know where that cap is, but
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, there's
it's absolutely retarded that if you bought a house in 2010 for, let's say, $300,000, and now it's 2025 and it's worth $1,000,000.
Okay,
That's a
5 cent.
retarded amount of inflation.
Right. It's nuts. But
Right.
that's a normal thing, especially in coastal properties.
Yeah.
What you just said is normal.
Yeah.
It doesn't fit the economy. It doesn't.
It doesn't fit any rational economic model. No way.
Well,
Yeah, that I have to say that's a pretty good point. That it,
next one I get since I got both you guys.
yeah,
Next one I want to get to is I want to be very clear to the listener, to the audience that are listening live. We have live listeners and the people that will listen later. Is it people from Afghanistan who were helping us? Let's just say helping us. Let's be very clear. They were traitors to the Taliban, so they were very useful to the Americans. That does not make them worthy of coming to America because they were not our friends. They just happened to get some benefit out of being traitors to the Taliban. I'll start with that. Are you guys liking my new way of just dropping bombs on you?
My point about that is that obviously I want to get all the Americans out, and then if you want to bring some locals from the country, those with I'm always in favor of skilled immigrants because skilled immigrants know how to do things. However, squealing is not necessarily a skill.
Mm-mm.
skilled immigrants know how to kill Americans in America.
Yeah, like what we just had with the National Guard.
And I was just there, and I wish I was on that street because I would have beheaded that dude right on the spot. Here's the thing,
I
fellas.
share the sentiment.
Fellas, can I tell you something?
Hey, hey, hold time out. I gotta say to all our networks, so Rumble, Spotify, YouTube, X, what we're getting into in this conversation isn't exactly what Paul said, but the meaning of what Paul said is that the defense of America. And this is this is one of the things I wrote on my scroll. We no longer do. We sometimes do doom scroll, but I wrote on my scroll for tonight, Paul, is that when we look at when we look at bringing in Afghan nationals by the gazillions under Biden, you guys get like all of the people listening go, it doesn't matter if it's Biden or Obama or Bush, or it really doesn't matter. The point I was making is that a traitor to the Taliban, or a traitor to Russia, or a traitor to Ukraine, or a traitor, they become a very good asset to the United States intelligence agencies
Okay.
and the organizations, the third party organizations that do war for us. That's where I'm getting into. And when you look at this stuff, they are not, and I've been very clear about this. They are not our friends. They are
Yeah.
flee because they get benefit by being traitorous to their government. That doesn't mean you should import them into the heart of the United States. Prove me wrong.
I
Paul's
Your
known more of
wife's
those guys.
so
Paul's known more of those guys than I have, so I'm going to let him talk.
Bro, it's not like that. It's really not. It's
Well, no, honestly, we're all interested. Lay it out.
so the only thing that keeps us from leveling the playing field is our internal um, instruction that has not been totally redone, even after. Uh-oh. Can you see me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we
Yeah, I
got
hit
you.
the wrong button or something. Let me move this out of here. So here's the thing. Hegseth and his crew is trying to uh, redo some things, but not all of them are redone yet. And so there are still some constraints, but I think at the end of the day, um, companies like mine and others are fully willing and capable to level the playing field. And and without proper vetting of all those that come in to the country, we're still going to have issues. But there are many companies like mine that have the wherewithal to take care of that problem. What our problem is there are liberals in these committees that don't
That
want us
that'll
to stand up and be, you know,
that'll I agree with. That would make sense to me, Paul. But hear me out. You bring in 100,000. Here's the story: Afghans. The ones that obviously made a plane and didn't just fall off a plane. We all saw that video. Horrible. Um, and you just say, "Hey, they were my translator." My point is, Paul, is they were already tyrants in their own government that like you really didn't do a vetting process. If they hate their own government and it looks like it's easy, well, if I just work for the American government, yeah, it'll be easy. I'll live, right? I'll live. And the Taliban won't kill me.
yeah,
So you just like when you look at that, that doesn't make them allegiant to the Americans or allegiant to the Western way of
oh
life.
no, yeah,
All it
that's
does
right.
is say that they're like, "I
Assimilation,
don't wanna die from the Taliban,
yeah,
so America, I'm gonna tell you a bunch of shit."
yeah.
That's where I'm going, Paul.
So in the height of my narcotics days, um, we had to be very articulate in how we explained without racial profiling that there were two 18-year-old black men that changed lanes 3 times without using a turn indicator, which gave us probable cause to pull them over, right? And then once we pulled them over, we'd pull one out of one side, one out of the other. And I'd ask one, "Where are you going?" "Going to my aunt's house." And I asked the other guy, "Where are you going?" "We're going to Nashville." Okay, so that's a little more probable cause. You know what I mean? And we built our case off of that. And
Do I need to prove probable cause if I'm going to strike a drug boat?
no,
Did I need probable cause when I entered Vietnam?
no,
Did I need probable cause when I gave Ukraine advanced drone weaponry to attack Russia?
no.
Did I need probable cause when we see where I'm going?
Yeah,
Can we can we cut to the chase here? These things are only important to the left wing situationally. They
They didn't give a
designate
shit about Vietnam.
Sean, you're beating me to it. Let's land a little closer to home. Did J6 Patriots get due process?
No.
No. Why not? Well, they were designated as a terrorist organization, so they don't get that. Who knew? Well, isn't Venezuela designated as a terrorist narco state? Yeah, they are. So
yeah.
why are we having this fucking discussion? All right? We'll do that to our own people, but we won't do it to drug boat captains coming out of Venezuela? That's why I'm done with turds like Mark Kelly. I don't want to hear it, Bald Eagle. I don't want to hear
Bald eagle.
it.
I can't
This
remember which
was a
one it
Lord
was.
High hypocrite. And Slotkin and the rest of them, anyway, they should be kicked out. They
Well,
should be
because
kicked out
we
of
we
public
we we
office.
only get Paul usually once a week, so I really want Paul's thoughts. Let's go back full
Oh,
circle.
he
We're gonna
doesn't want me
circle
going
back.
Okay.
crazy.
No, no, no. We're gonna circle back to hockey. Mark Kelly, his accusations of illegal orders, which I don't believe
It's
there has been
there's
any.
no basis in what his claims are, Sean. There is no basis. There's no legal uh, precedence to what he's saying. He does not know what he's talking about.
But no, no, no. He does know what he's talking about, and he's doing it intentionally, Paul. He's asking for a military to coup against the CIC, the commander in chief.
Yes, he is.
And if you see it differently, please tell me. But there's no way to see it differently, from my standpoint, because he just keeps going out there and doing it all day, every day.
He
He's
Right.
like,
put him on
listen,
every show. He's like the new.
the
He's like
last
the.
one, the last one I saw from him, he's like, I red misted 3 boats during my command. Well, admitting that he killed people during his command, and he goes, "But I knew those were lawful orders.
Yeah.
Donald Trump's orders
There,
are
dude,
unlawful."
dude, this the there are no unlawful orders going around right now.
It's a distinction without a
It,
difference.
I can't. I just. Mm,
Wait,
mm,
wait, wait.
mm, mm.
I get people because we'll probably close this out. But let me ask you: what do your sisters who watch TV think about Mark Kelly?
They hate him.
Oh,
They
really?
think he's disingenuous, and they think he is spreading uh, uh, hate on the current administration overall. Now, I have to say, my sister Peg would not say Trump or Marco Rubio, by name, but she was adamant. she was adamant that Mark Kelly had nothing good to do for the betterment of the American people. That's how she framed it, Sean. She wouldn't say names, or you know what I mean.
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah, but
No,
she
it's
just
it's
said,
very
yeah,
interesting to me.
yeah,
Because obviously I know they're TV watchers, so they're affected by what the TV says, the TV programming.
yeah.
All right, and like the TV programming, the current television programming, is that Mark Kelly is the guy that's actually correct or lawful. And you gotta look at what I said when we opened the show. That dude, he's like, you know what, Gavin Newsom, fuck him. I'll be president, and I will be the most lawful commander in chief there's ever been, and that's gonna be that's gonna be the cycle. That's what he's gonna do.
Yeah.
Look, you guys could say no, he's not. I'm
No,
telling
but
you, it's
you're
gonna
right. He
happen.
is. That's what
Well,
he's
I
going
know
to
that no less of a luminary than Obama and the rest of the gang. They did not want Kamala to ascend to the throne. They wanted Mark Kelly in there either as president or as VP in their little mini convention or whatever the hell it was. They see him as very electable. I see him as Texas's third senator, which is where he lives. Even though he's the elected senator of Arizona, he lives in Texas.
Oh, of
Um,
course.
no, he's a skunk. He is. He's an amoral skunk.
Right, 'cause,
I don't know that my commentary is all that helpful. I just despise him. Right.
oh, I do
And
too. I do too.
yeah, yeah.
I wanna
I
go
don't
I gotta
I
go
don't buy it.
backwards real quick, only because I think it's fucking hilarious. Can we talk more about Tim Walz being retarded and Trump and Trump saying so? And all of a sudden CNN, CBS wait, where's Barry Weiss at CBS? MS Snow or M Snow, MS
M Snow,
M Snow, or any of these other
M
networks.
Snow job.
Yeah, it's a snow job. Where are they at with this? Like, do a crack list. Look, gay and retarded, GHEY, and retarded, RETARDED. It is totally acceptably done again. And you know what? We were a better world when kids in the 1980s called you gay or retarded if you had a dumb idea. We
Sure.
were. We absolutely were. And that's where you figured out your place in the planet. You
Right.
moved on. You're just like, okay, that was a dumb idea. And you just whatever. You got better for it. Uh, I know you're laughing, but I
No,
talk.
I got you though,
I
bro.
talked to this about this for 3 or 4 years that we've been doing this, is that bullying not and I'm not talking about the bully who just destroys people to destroy
Right.
people.
No, right.
Beating up the bully was a thing in the 70s, 80s, and 90s,
Yep.
and you put the bully in their place,
Fully
and
sharpen you up.
and you said mean words. You said very mean words.
Yep.
You did mean things. You had to do mean things, but you put the bully down. The bully now is the Socialist Party.
Oh, yeah. M Snow. They're the
M.
bullies. Yeah.
Snow. M. Snow, for sure. I mean, Paul, are you gonna let M. Snow
Listen,
bully your sisters?
listen. I don't even I don't even know what to say because it's just so tiresome, dude.
Don't you? But you
Listen,
know what a
if
retard
we
is.
go down this road, Tanya even said again over Thanksgiving holiday, she's like, if we go down this road, we're fucked because
What road?
this is
Hold
what
on. What
happened in
road? What road?
Yugoslavia.
What road? Oh, okay. But all right. But explain that to people who don't know you. If we go down this road into Yugoslavia,
Yeah.
no,
What's
explain that
going to
to people who
happen?
have no idea
Right.
what
They have
happened.
no idea what's to come. Because if it goes down this road, it's going to split the country, and we won't go back to north and south or per se, but we're going to go red state versus blue state. And Tanya says there's no scenario where that's successful. And she says, I've got dead friends that can tell you about it.
How that goes. Yeah.
Yeah.
JC, thought Civil War is like a hot Civil War. Is that going to happen?
No.
A cold Civil War? Are we in it?
We've already got
Oh,
that.
we're in the middle of a cold civil war, dude.
Yeah, we
There's
already
no
got
doubt.
that.
It's just nobody stepped up and fired a gun yet. But when they
Well,
do, it's going to be on like Donkey Kong, and then
Well,
fucking
that's a great
sitting
question.
down to pee
Here's
motherfucking men up in
Paul.
the Northeast are not going to know what hit them.
Who
Oh,
fires?
sorry.
Who
That was a
fired?
spontaneous utterance. I blurted
No,
that out.
it's all right. Who fires the first shot? Because I don't think it's the conservative. And we're not Republicans, to be clear. The most of the conservative party are Tea Republicans or Tea Party. See, here we come out with the shirt from
Let
JC.
me tell you something, Sean.
Well,
At
like
every
who
turn,
fires the first shot? And I'm going to tell you, it's going to be some transgender freak that starts the war. Oh God, there's
100%.
silence. I love it.
No,
Am I
100%.
wrong?
That's what's going to happen.
Sean,
Because let me
let's
tell you
just
something,
say,
Sean. What's going to happen is some deranged uh, vagina wearing male.
Pull your mic a little closer to you. I want this to be very clear to everybody what you're going to say.
all right, here we
Thank
go.
you. Go say it now.
So here's what's going to happen.
Wow, that's an incredible difference in the audio.
Is it really?
Yes.
Yeah, it's very good.
So here's what's going to happen. Some misguided mangina having beta male is going to freak out and shoot somebody.
That's already been happening.
No, it has, but not under the right circumstances, Sean. What's going to happen
Where
is
do you think? No, here's you're right. Now, like maybe I get where you're going from, but where does the actual conservative, not Republican, conservative man get involved in this cold civil war, Paul? Because we're just sitting there cold. We're just watching all the idiots.
yeah. So what's going to happen with the, non-combative conservatives at this point when this event that I predict will happen within the next 18 months, those guys are going to hit hard, go to guns, go to ground, protect their families, and it's going to be on. is just going to be on. And it's going to be red states versus blue states. And the blue states all have vaginas, and they're not going to be able to respond to the overwhelming machismo of the red states.
Where do the Islamists fit in?
Great fucking
Because they're
question.
the ones most likely to start something.
Yep.
No, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you look at some of these other things that have happened. These beta males come out and, instead of like they used to do in the 80s, now they have firearms.
Right.
And now they're shooting good guys. And so, okay. Back in my day in law enforcement, we would say, bring it.
Yeah.
You bring it. You ain't going to survive, but you bring it.
But isn't the question really, obviously, the people are invited in, Trump's kicking some of them out, not enough of them out. But isn't the question really, and when you look at that, you go look at history, and you just take a look and say, well, this is how the Romans lost their empire, or this is how the Persians lost their empire, both of which are true. And the only empire that hasn't been lost is the British Empire. And don't you think I know it sounds weird that the British are like, hey, we're totally willing to be invaded as long as we can ruin the Americans, because the Americans totally said, screw you, I'm going to be my own country and not part of the British Empire.
They've been trying to get us back ever since. You know that.
I'm aware. I'm aware.
So,
And I mean, even now, I've been watching
let me give you
Richard.
an example of the UK in current form. There's an IT consultant that went to the US on a consultancy and was doing work for them, and they appreciated his consultancy. So on a Thursday, they took him fishing. This was in Florida. So they took him fishing, and he caught a bunch of fish, and he was just beside himself because he's an IT nerd guy, right? And then on Friday, they set up a luncheon at a shooting range. So they ate pulled pork and snook and all kinds of stuff. And they shot, this is key, they shot shotguns.
Oh.
Not ARs, not black bad guy guns, none of that. They shot Rossies and Remington 800s and that kind of thing. And so he posted 2 or 3 photos on the internet on his social media of him shooting these targets. And then he went back to the UK. And 2 days later, he was arrested.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because
only thing he could have done worse than that was get on Facebook.
Yeah.
About
or
the
shoot
Muslim.
naked with the heart on.
Right, right.
Well,
And
wait,
I'm
wait,
like,
wait, 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 wait. What do you make of that with the it used to be an empire, but England now just arresting all white people for thought crimes, Paul.
yep,
What do you think about that?
I, I, I'm not sure I could say what I think on this
You want to
venue,
know what I think?
JC,
but
please
I
tell
would.
me what you think. Well, the biggest empire that has ever existed on Earth is the English Empire. You could all fight me.
No,
We've
that's
got
true.
chat rooms open. We've got all the things. You can also DM us, or you could email the show at sean.strom@gmail, and fight me. Totally fight me. The English Empire is the biggest empire and most evil empire that's ever lived on Earth. And I will bring you this, the Church of England.
Of
Now
course.
let me go to JC so he can jump
Well,
in wherever he
anybody,
wants to go.
well, no, I'll go back to a, I'll go back to a place that where there is no argument. 20 years ago, Muslim grooming gangs in the hinterlands of the UK, the labor areas where the more economically, look, whenever you've got suburbs, you've got the nice neighborhoods, where they have the hodang and all that. And then you got the
Yeah,
working class. You got the working class places. So,
right.
the counties that surround metropolitan areas
Yeah,
as
yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah, okay. In those working class areas where you have a lot of single motherhood, and people struggling to survive, to get by, lots of small businesses and that thing. Muslims set up shop there, and then you got the latchkey girls, or the girls who may only have a single mom, or the mom works nights or whatever, and the girls are available, and these Muslim guys would recruit those girls and groom them for sexual abuse, or the fact is they regarded those girls as infidels, and so they should be able to have their way with them. And this was in Rotherham, which is the most famous place, but it happened throughout the English countryside. And when this was reported to the authorities arrested the people who reported it. And every time there's a new revelation about this now, 20 years after the fact, they arrest Tommy Robinson,
Hmm.
because he's the one who's got enough balls to talk about it out loud. And Paul, I want to know right now, up in Dearbornistan, is this going on?
Yeah,
Is it going on in
100%.
the
In
United States?
Dearbornistan, it's going on, dude.
I think it probably is. And I wouldn't be surprised if you've got some of that action down in Texas, because I've heard about how Texas has opened, what, 400 mosques or something like that in the last 2 years or something. There's an
Yep.
issue. There's an issue.
We
But
have full
I don't think, go ahead.
5,000 home uh, uh, neighborhoods that are 100% Muslim, and you cannot buy a house there unless you are a certified Muslim.
Well, that's racist.
Sure it is. But then their law there is Sharia, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they absolutely intend to dominate. And my theory about this is the UK is a warning sign. I don't think we're there yet, but I wonder if American men were found out that this sort of thing was going on to the young ladies in
Bro,
their metropolitan area, what
it's
would happen?
it's coming here like a freight train. And if we don't stop it, shame on us. And
All
those of us
correct.
that have fought in those wars and done those kinds of things.
Well, no, no, no. Even more important, Paul. Those of you, because people like you who have been to those countries.
Know what it's about.
and can see that we don't want anything to do with their culture. And yeah, Sean, you're racist. Great. Okay. I'm
Bullshit.
No, you're
not,
not
but
racist.
whatever.
They don't assimilate,
Right.
right? So I got to tell you, the agricultural Mexican in Texas, they are all about assimilation.
Mm-hmm.
They really are. It's not like this big adversarial thing. It's like, no, no, no. Whatever you say is what we want to do because we want to be Americans and pick your broccoli and pick your citrus and that kind of stuff. It's not adversarial. You know, they want to be a part of it. Whereas the Muslim community is like, no, what? No, hang on a minute. No, go fuck yourself. We're not doing your Christian
Anything.
bullshit,
Right.
you know?
Yeah, you're not allowed to have Christmas because
No.
we're Muslim and we're
And
Somali and we
and
live
the
in
German
Nepal.
German cities are surrendering their Christmas markets because it displeases the Muslims. That's what's going
So
on.
my favorite thing to do that I've done since Thanksgiving is find a woman in a headdress and go, "Hey," and she goes, "Hey, how are you?" And I'm go, "Great, Merry Christmas, fucker."
Well,
And say,
you
hey,
know,
I bet you're cute if you take off that hefty bag.
right.
Hey, hey, fellas, I gotta drop, man. I gotta pay attention to my wife. She's got MS
Well, of course,
issues
and then,
tonight.
of course, but as we're doing less of these each week, I
No,
know
let's
the
don't
Canucks.
do less. Let's do the same.
Well, all right, hear me out. We're do You don't show up on Tuesdays for the Canuck show in
No.
the same way that the
He
Canuck
doesn't
doesn't
like
show up
Edward. It's okay.
on Mondays for your show. But if we could get all four of us together to just do a few shows a week,
Yeah,
I
that'd be
think we could
great.
do some
But
good stuff.
he's a hoe. I don't know why he doesn't come to our show. It's
It's
way
like group
more
chat.
important than his little bullshit show on Tuesday.
Man, he will tell you some stuff about Britain and how much he loves being a part about the British Empire. You will be able to bully the shit out of him if he just would show up for
Oh my God, I can't wait.
All right.
it. Anyways, drop. I've got a few more things I want to ask. My friend, if he's gonna stay with me, but yeah, go ahead and drop
I
Paul.
gotta drop.
Yeah,
I,
yeah,
Good
yeah.
I
call.
No
appreciate it.
worries.
Love you guys. See you
Love you
later.
too.
Well, yeah. Actually, we need to have an offline conversation about where we're going with this program. We'll do it offline with you
Okay.
at some point in
Sounds
time,
good, bro.
Paul. Probably this week. But yeah, go ahead and
All right.
drop.
All right.
See you,
See you
brother.
later.
So he already figured out how to drop. I still
You
want
did.
to go back to. So Tim Walz is a retard, and everybody that's mad about it watches CNN or M Snow, and they're all 70 to 90 years old. And so when I look at this, I think everybody already knew a year ago that you could call someone a retarded or gay again. It was back, just like it was in the 80s and the 90s. You just
Right.
say, well, that's gay. And it didn't mean anything offensive. It just mean, well, that's stupid.
Right.
And so Trump calls Walls retarded, and MSM or M Snow, CNN, like they're all up in arms. Even Fox News, but Fox News is just as liberal as they all are.
Oh, I know they're just as bad.
Yeah, and I just so what I was looking at was once the actual boomers, that generation passes, is that Fox, CNN, M Snow, doesn't really matter. It could be Newsmax, it could be News Nation. They all just die, and everybody who wants to get a story gets it from some other social media. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. I just they're worthless.
No, they're
The
terrible.
only people,
And
the,
and
the
Trump.
only people they go ahead.
And let me just say something in defense of Trump. When the reporters confront him with this, do you want to apologize for calling Governor Walz a retard? No, he is a retard.
Why should he?
And I mean, anyone who's watched him operate knows that he is. You'll never see a guy less comfortable in his own skin. He's a retard. He is. He's
Yeah.
socially retarded. No, he absolutely is.
Well, and the funny thing about that, right? They take so much offense to that, but they have no problem with calling people maggots.
Oh
Which
yeah,
can you
yeah,
can you can you get the reference where they're going with maggots?
of course.
Oh wait, they're calling people gay, GHEY or GAY, either one.
Either one.
Because they don't believe the same thing you do. They're calling you maggots. Well, they're also
Yeah.
calling you a bug. I mean, and you're gonna, oh, I'm so upset that Donald Trump called someone a retard. But you, for 12 or 11 years now, have been calling all of us the most ridiculous slurs, and we all
Teabaggers.
laughed about it. We
Mhm.
all laughed about it. But they call it, but when we call one of theirs a slur,
Oh,
they call it, "Oh my god, it's a slur." Can you believe there was a slur? The maggots? The retarded maggots?
Sean,
You know?
Sean, it's different when Democrats do it. Just like a toxic spouse. No, no. My 25 boyfriends, that's fine because I trust me. Those girls, no, that's not okay.
That
That's
chick
not all
was
right.
just texting me, "You were banging 25 guys."
Yeah,
The
yeah.
tech
I know. I know. It's an entire football team. But yet, my little six pack is supposedly more relevant. I mean, it's just it makes no sense whatsoever. And I had another diseased female explain it to me. Well, she trusts herself, and I'm like, why? She doesn't like herself. Why the hell would she trust herself? She says it's different, John. You don't understand. And I'm just like, okay,
No, I don't
okay.
understand, but, yeah. That's part of what progressivism and liberalism have brought into the world is that women don't have to be faithful.
They've made it safe for that sort of dysfunction.
Yeah,
That's what progressivism has brought into the world. They've made it safe for no standards as long as you think approved thoughts. In other words, and let me expound on that for just a minute.
please
If
do.
you're Ted Kennedy and you're pro-choice and you're going to let any woman rip whatever she wants out of her body every moment up to and including birth when you puncture a hole in the kid's head and suck its brains out, then you get a free pass even if you drown people. Okay? That's the bargain because you're on our team.
Well, but
So we'll
like,
forgive
so
murder.
for the young people that don't understand, Ted Kennedy had hundreds of women.
Yes.
Hundreds. And how did he do that? Hey, do you want to meet me at the White House?
Yeah.
And
I'm
they're
the
like,
president's
oh,
brother. Yeah, we'll get in the pool.
I
Yeah.
come to the White House. I'm gonna go even grosser. It didn't matter what age
No.
these women were.
No.
And so when you start looking at and then hold on, I'm gonna go farther. You look at this, nothing happened. Nobody was worried, but it was totally happening. And then we get into everybody crying about the Epstein files, and you go, wait.
This is
A
different.
lot of people hold on, right? It's different. A lot of people are like, well, that was the Kennedys. It was fine. And then you go, well, that's disgusting. And I believe Trump's in it. And whether he is or isn't, I believe he is not. And then you look at all this stuff. You go, the biggest thing with the Epstein files to me, JC, is what people don't get is this was literally a State Department operation.
Yes.
And Epstein was just a small part of it. And you're
Yes.
never going to get means and methods of their operation.
You're never gonna get MI.
Period.
You're never gonna get MI6 stuff. You're just not. You're
No,
not.
a lot of people say I'm Assad, but I will say
MI6 is every bit as bad as Mossad, if not worse.
but I'm gonna say State Department. State Department also gets us back into Ukraine, but State Department is the one of the worst things that
Uh,
we've ever created in the United States.
and for anybody who wonders what you mean, the all the vices of the State Department were concentrated in USAID. All right? And now that we all know what USAID was involved in, that was like a crucible of State Department ops and power. And it was like their rapid deployment force. If State Department needed to shift gears, if the CIA needed something, if whatever, it was all routed through the USAID slush fund, and they could get action overseas almost overnight. They had what Axel Foley in Beverly Hills Cop would call flash money. All right,
Yep.
I just
That's
need some flash
absolutely
money.
true.
So we do want these blue slips. I want to see some arrest slips. I
Well,
signed off on all this shit.
I think
That's
if
a
it,
60. That's a $60,000 Ferrari. Anyway,
oh, what a great movie! But if people could really see that's what was going on, and look at like so everyone's still crying about the State Department, or not? They're crying about the Epstein files,
yes,
and I go, okay, great, but you really do not understand that this was a driven op or a psyop by the State Department. You should be mad as fuck at them, and you should be demanding the arrest of people who are in the State Department, and then go even further and go, well, if they're doing that, didn't they do J6? And should we not prosecute Nancy Pelosi? Like when you just look at this stuff, right? Am I wrong?
should we not prosecute Nancy Pelosi? Could we start with
Is there
arresting
not?
Adam?
And there's plenty of evidence. Is there
Could we
not?
start? Could we start with something realistic like arresting Adam Schiff?
Holy crap! Please, that's the first
Okay, look,
person.
look, look, look. I know we don't have all night, but I'm just going to say this. The pure genius of my Twitter screen name has come into full bloom in the last 4 weeks. With the whole Epstein stuff and everything else and all the equivocations and Kash Patel's rhapsodizing about the interagency process and all the great cooperation that we're getting from federal law enforcement, it is very clear that Cash is counterfeit cash. He is absolutely not going to arrest anybody. He's not going to do shit. He's not going to prosecute anyone or anything. He thinks that he can reform the FBI and make it functional and law abiding. And all the bad guys, the ones he refers to as the interagency, are just tapping his ass along. Yeah, we'll catch a few bad guys. And the minute Trump gets on the plane to head to Mar-a-Lago, we're going to put the cuffs on you, asshole. That's exactly what's going to happen. And he doesn't get that. And how can you?
No, all right, wait, explain that better, because what you're trying to say is actually correct. They're all going to go to prison, and I mean us. I mean you, me,
Yes, all of us.
Josh Patel. I mean Trump. I mean, like, explain that better.
All right. If nothing structurally happens to the deep state, and when Patel is going on, I've been listening to this in his language for the last 3 months. He keeps going on and rhapsodizing about the cooperation of the interagency. Well, the first I ever heard about the interagency was in Adam Schiff's secret impeachment hearings, and Fiona Hill and Vindman and the rest of these cocksuckers would come in there and go on about how Trump doesn't respect the interagency process. Well, to me, the interagency process screams deep state. It's the bureaucracy's mechanism for controlling the world. And if you're telling me how great it is that the interagency is cooperating with you, that means you're one of them. They have nothing to they're just co-opting you and they're tapping you along, just like my stylist that I took the company car back from. You know, for men that have been in relationships and you wonder what the hell is wrong with her. The relationship's working great for her. You go to work, she gets the money, she does whatever she wants, you never stand up to her, and so the relationship works great for her. Life is filled with similar situations in toxic relationships, and
Yep.
we have a toxic relationship with our bureaucracy.
Well,
They're
I
supposed
couldn't say it
they're
better.
supposed to work for us, and they think we work for them.
Well, of course they do. It obviously,
Well, we
you're
do,
correct.
obviously. Yeah, they get our money. Yeah, and these people, the guy who wrote Government Gangsters, the guy, the guy who said that he was going to close the Hoover Building and turn it into a museum for the deep state, the guy who said these guys will never investigate themselves unless we go in there and rip them out of their positions. Those are all quotes from Kash Patel. Counterfeit cash.
They are. So let me get even further. Let me get into the libertarians.
All right.
Uh, Rand Paul says, "I wrote a bill." Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a bill on
Okay,
Capitol
you wrote a
Hill.
bill, but you wrote a bill. Hold on. You wrote a bill that was going to do what to Anthony Fauci?
Huh?
Rand Paul.
Yeah, we're gonna get to the bottom of this. Same way
Wait, stop.
Goober Graham. The only place Goober Graham gets to the bottom of everything is in Frank Luntz's hot tub, and we all know that.
Well, all right. So, let's for the people explain what is going on. Conservatives obviously are not going to vote, or they're going to choose not to vote in the midterms. Midterms get lost. Blah blah blah. We end up in whatever planet we lived in. But
Yeah.
the other thing is, uh, you got to look at how accurate and very good the propaganda is from the left. It just is, and it works.
Sure.
Pete is just killing people instead of giving them. Like everybody believes it. It's
Everybody, or just
no,
the
no,
50%
no, no,
that
no, no. Everybody does believe it. And I will tell you this because we've said this many times before. If you want our podcast to be part of your uh, campaign, $3,000 an hour. That's cheap.
that's right.
Cheap. It's super cheap. $3,000 an hour. So, am I wrong?
No, you're right. All right. I you, you know what, Sean? I think we've probably beaten it to death.
Let's call it out. I'll even
Okay,
play the song. Hold on. Let me see if I
play
can.
the song. I want to hear the song. It's no good without the music.
Well, yeah. All right, here we go.